If a fiscal reviewer asked you tomorrow why your Head Start grant paid 62% of your agency's total rent last quarter, could you defend it clearly, confidently, and with documentation?
Honestly, I need a minute to think about that.
Yeah, and I've been doing this a long time. I'd still want to pull my files first.
Exactly. And that's why we're having this conversation today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Budget, a community for the people behind the numbers. I'm Lacey Arvidson. I've spent my career inside Head Start programs as an operations coordinator, a fiscal manager, and later as a training and technical assistant specialist. My passion is helping programs build strong fiscal systems that actually work in the real world, not just on paper. Today we're talking about one of the biggest pressure points I'm seeing right now, cost allocation plans. I am joined by two experienced fiscal leaders. Just a quick note, I've changed their names and a few identifying details to protect the privacy of their programs and the people they serve. But the experiences, challenges, and lessons they share are very real and come straight from the field. With me today is Alex, about 6 months into his first Head Start fiscal role after coming from corporate accounting.
Yep, still recovering from the culture shock, honestly. It's a whole different world.
And Judith, a seasoned fiscal director with decades of grant-funded experience.
Happy to be here. And yes, even after all these years, I'm still learning something new.
That's the right mindset. Let's jump in. Let me start with what people are feeling right now. The rules themselves haven't changed dramatically, but the level of scrutiny, that absolutely has. With fiscal year 26 monitoring updates, fiscal integrity reviews are happening earlier in the grant cycle through Focus Area 1 in the first or second year of the grant cycle. Reviewers are looking deeper at systems, documentation, internal controls, and how programs are actually operating. For many years, programs could submit all kinds of unique cost allocation plans, some as simple as one page or as complex as a 30-page dissertation. They could submit their cost allocation document with their grant application, sign the certification, and move on with little pushback. That former oversight environment is changing.
Right, that tracks. In corporate accounting, if the numbers worked out and leadership signed off, we just moved on. Here, every adjustment feels like it needs a paper trail, policy reference, and 3 explanations, which, I get it now, but the adjustment was real.
Yeah, that's very real.
It is real, and honestly, neither perspective is wrong. They're just different systems. In grant-funded environments, especially Head Start, we're stewards of public funds. That means the question isn't only, did it balance? It's also, was it allowable? Was it allocable? Was it reasonable? Was it documented? And could you defend it later?
That last one really hits hard.
Because later always comes, right? It always does.
The first issue I'm seeing is reliance on outdated or minimalist plans. Judith, you've seen this firsthand.
Oh, yes, definitely. When I started at my current program, I inherited a cost allocation plan that had, basically been recycled for years. Same structure, same wording, same assumptions. It was almost a photocopy. Only the signature page ever changed. And honestly, I just assumed if grants kept getting approved, it must be fine, right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Exactly. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Then during a recent review, I was actually asked to walk through our current allocation process using that document. And I couldn't really do it. It just didn't reflect what we were actually doing anymore.
That happens a lot. A policy is not the same thing as an operational plan. Your plan should explain what shared costs exist, how they're allocated, why that basis makes sense, how often it's reviewed, who is responsible, how changes are documented. If it can't guide a real conversation, it may not be enough.
So if someone sat down with me and said, walk me through how payroll allocations work, the document should actually help me do that.
Exactly. Second issue. Allocation bases that don't hold up under scrutiny. A common legacy approach is the biggest program pays the most money.
That sounds kind of logical on the surface.
It does sound logical, until someone asks why, and then it gets tricky.
Right. The better question is not who has the biggest budget. It's who receives the benefit from that cost. That's the core concept. For example, facilities may align with square footage. Shared admin support may align with documented time. Some programmatic support may align with enrollment or usage, but it depends on the facts, on the actual cost and benefit.
So there really isn't one magic percentage then?
Nope, and honestly, people love magic percentages.
They really do. I've seen grown adults cling to a number like it's sacred.
But reviewers tend to prefer logic over convenience.
We used the same percentage for nearly everything, and it felt tidy at the time. But once I really sat down and reviewed it, I realized some of those costs made sense that way. Others absolutely did not. We ended up having to rebuild several categories from scratch.
Oof, that sounds painful.
But also completely worth it.
Third issue. The written plan says one thing, daily practice says another. This is huge. You may have a solid plan, but if your payroll reports don't match, journal entries are inconsistent, monitoring isn't happening, percentages changed with no record whatsoever, you create a lot of risk.
Okay, this is where I personally get a little nervous because I can understand the plan on paper, but staying on top of it every single month, that feels harder than it sounds.
That's honest and honestly common. Good compliance usually comes from rhythm, not heroics. Monthly routines beat annual panic.
Yes, and we really did learn that the hard way. When things got busy, cost allocation review just slipped lower and lower on the list. Then when someone started asking questions, we had to basically recreate history. And that is not a fun exercise. Nobody has ever enjoyed recreating history.
No one has ever said that happily, that's for sure.
The fourth issue is using one method for all shared costs. That's where oversimplification creates trouble. Rent may need one logic, executive time may need another, technology support may need another, vehicle usage might need another one. Each category deserves thought and individualization.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I think I came in wanting one clean formula for everything. Just keep it simple.
Oh, we all want that, believe me.
Yes, simplicity is attractive, but accurate simplicity is different than false simplicity.
We ended up documenting floor plans, usage assumptions, leadership time studies, the whole thing. Not glamorous work, not at all, but very, very helpful work.
Fifth issue, no regular review process. Programs change, staffing changes, grants expand or contract, enrollment shifts, locations change, new funding streams appear, but some allocation plans stay frozen in time.
So what should a realistic review process actually look like? Like monthly, quarterly, both?
Minimum answer, often enough to catch problems early. My practical recommendation, monthly monitoring, quarterly deeper review, annual formal refresh, and an immediate review when operations materially change.
Yeah, we actually had a situation. A local grant was spending much faster than expected one year. We adjusted internally, but we didn't document the reasoning very well at the time. So later on paper, it just looked messy. Once I explained it verbally, it all made sense. But verbal explanations after the fact, they're just not nearly as strong as contemporaneous documentation, you know?
That sentence right there is gold. Here's the one question I want listeners to remember. Does this cost benefit each program proportionally to the benefit it actually receives? And can we clearly document and measure that benefit? Ask that before allocating any shared cost.
Wow. Yeah, that actually simplifies a lot for me. I'm writing that down.
Same here. It's honestly become a kind of gut check question for our whole team.
Exactly. It works whether you're brand new, inherited a messy system, experienced but modernizing, preparing for review, rebuilding trust in your processes. It cuts through all of the confusion.
Can I be honest for a second?
Absolutely.
Sometimes I feel late to the party with all of this. Like everyone else already knows this stuff, and I'm just catching up.
I'm glad you said that. Many experienced leaders are re-evaluating systems right now too. You're not the only one learning. Some people are learning from scratch, others are unlearning outdated habits. Both take effort.
That is so true, really. I've had to humble myself more than once recently. I'll tell you that experience helps, but it doesn't exempt you from change. That's something I keep reminding myself.
Right? If someone listening wants to improve this week, here's where I'd start. First, pull out your current plan and actually read it word for word. 2, Pick 3 of your shared costs listed in there. Ask whether the bases still make sense. 3. Compare your plan to practice. Are staff following it? 4. Schedule recurring review time. Put it on your calendar and make time for it. 5. Fix one thing first. Momentum matters much more than perfection.
Okay, yeah, that actually feels really manageable.
Very manageable, and honestly kind of a relief to hear it laid out that way.
And if you'd like some help with this, I created a free resource called the Cost Allocation Plan Quick Check Checklist. It helps you review common red flags and spot gaps quickly. You can find that through my YouTube channel and at restartahead.com. I'm also developing deeper training resources and practical tools for fiscal leaders who want stronger systems without unnecessary overwhelm.
I'm definitely grabbing that checklist. After this, that sounds super helpful.
Same here. And free is my absolute favorite price point.
Honestly, same. Before we go, let me leave you with this. Strong fiscal leadership is not about knowing every answer instantly. It's about asking the right questions, building reliable systems, and improving over time. Cost allocation doesn't need to feel mysterious. It needs to feel intentional. Alex and Judith, thank you both for being here.
Thanks, Lacey. This honestly helped me a lot, more than I expected.
Same here. Really great conversation. Thank you.
And thank you for listening to Behind the Budget. If this episode helped you, share it with another fiscal leader who carries a lot and doesn't always hear that they're doing important work. Visit restartahead.com for tools and updates. Until next time, I'm Lacey, helping programs start strong and stay strong.